farmer, friend, singer-songwriter, Lyal Strickland.
And that's farmer, friend, and jack of all trades, Chris Horn.
And we're
Those Tastebud guys.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining us one more time. If you could, like, subscribe, comment, follow, do all those things that you do for all the other podcasts and YouTube channels and all the things that everyone else wants. It'd help us out too, and we would greatly appreciate it. So tonight we are kind of going on down the craft beer thing again. You know, always that one caveat, it seems like, but not too bad. But we are going with the IPA tonight, and that's kind of a three-letter word for me.
The big IPA. We're going to do a Goose Island IPA. This is out of Chicago. It's now owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. Started out as a little craft brew. I would safely say it's no longer fits under the definition of a craft brew.
Well, does Anheuser-Busch own more than 25% of it?
It owns 100%, at least as I'm aware of.
Do they make more than 6 million barrels?
I'm not sure, but you can find it pretty much anywhere. I'm going to say that's likely more. So
I don't think this is craft by definition.
Yeah, but it
was at one point.
It was at one point, and they've done their best to get back to and keep the tradition of the original beer, and it's still a good solid beer. So we're going to crack it and see what we got.
Well, I think it's a great start for an IPA, if there is such a thing. And
you're not generally a fan of IPAs, but I am.
It depends on the day. No, I'm not really looking forward to this tonight. Mostly because, to be honest, I've had this particular one.
Yeah. Oh, that's close.
Did you get all yours in there?
Yep.
Oh, I got a swallow. All right, you win. You win that one.
Yeah. So I've drank this beer for quite a while, and it's readily available. It's in a lot of places. Its price point's pretty good. It sits at a 5.9?
5.9%.
So that's always.
I'm not a little aggressive there.
Always solid.
5.9%, 55 IBUs, and you bought it. I actually don't know how much this one costs.
Well, I bought these from some friends of ours, and I think they were $4 a piece, but I bought them in a single. In the store, I think you're looking at about $8 a sixer.
So still in that same ballpark. That
7 to 9, somewhere in there. If it's $7, it's a good deal. If it's $9, don't cry about it. It's about where it should be.
Okay.
So.
All right, sweet. And what do we know about this company? They're from Chicago, right?
Out of Chicago. Mostly, I did because I drank Goose Island for a long time. And I read some stuff when they got sold. They sold in I think 2014. To Anheuser-Busch, and
I thought I read 2011. Is 2014? You might be right. It
probably was 2011.
Okay.
I'm really bad with dates.
I don't know. I bet there's one.
Something probably fixes
right
it.
There.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't really know a whole lot about the beer itself other than what I like about it.
But it's an IPA.
I think this classifies as a pretty standard IPA.
You know, I don't smell as... So IPAs typically, if you haven't had one before, you may be like me and kind of was scared off of them after your first one, or maybe you sampled one somewhere, and they're typically bitter. Seems like that might be the case. Typically pretty bitter. Mm-hmm. That sometimes can be one of the myths about IPA. They're not all bitter, but...
it really depends on the one that you get, and we're going to talk more about that, I think, in a little bit, but this one, to me...
nose.
There you go. That'll clear the sinuses out. This is a pretty standard one for me. This is what I like in an IPA, where it's like...
So this was an English IPA?
English style India Pale Ale, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is that a New England style IPA?
I don't believe so, from what I understand. But I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Well, the nose is a lot lighter than I expected, so...
It is.
I thought it'd be pretty bitter.
This particular beer, this is interesting. They have this on the can, and it won 6 medals in the English-style India IPA category at the Great American Beer Festival. But they have not won one of those medals since Anheuser bought them, I think. Unless it was last year. So
do you think that's because... Because of Anheuser, do you think the beer qualities actually went down?
Here's the thing. I think when you ramp up production on that scale, I read a lot about how much trouble they had making this on such a bigger scale, because Anheuser produces beer for a lot of people. I think probably you're going to lose a little bit in there. But what you lose in character, you probably gain in conformity and uniformity. So, you get this anywhere it's going to be the same.
Let's talk about this.
Face. So this is what I like about IPAs. It's malty.
You're going to have to cover that.
It's malty and kind of sweet on the front, and then it finishes very sour, like a sour and bitter, and kind of bounces on your tongue a little bit. It makes you go like, makes you kind of.
Yeah, I was definitely doing that. So nose-wise, I actually didn't get much off there. Normally, the IPAs that I tend to like have to be a little bit floral, a little dirty tasting.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of that style where, I don't know, I would either consider this a West Coast or a New England style probably, that tends to be very bitter. And bitter like hoppy, it doesn't have the maltiness to it, and it's definitely a powerhouse on the front end. So...
Yeah, so what this rate on Beer Advocate?
This was a 3.7 on Beer Advocate. So it's not bad. I mean, that's still a decent rating.
Yeah.
I mean, not every beer that we're going to do is going to be something I necessarily like. This is definitely one side of my wheelhouse, and we're going to give a good chug on this, see what happens.
That's the kicker. You got to like... IPAs are not something you start out the night with, generally, unless you're just going to drink an IPA. It'll pretty much overwhelm your taste buds.
It does. So...
I just like watching him drink IPAs. That's my favorite thing in life right now.
My Lance. Okay. Let's talk about tasting this a little bit. Now, as we said, I want to get into a big IPA discussion. I know beforehand we've agreed not to do that yet because it will take up so much time.
It's such a rabbit hole.
So I would like to do another episode, like maybe a table episode, where we just sit and talk about these. Because as much as I'm not a fan of this one, and please don't take that as meaning it's a bad beer. It's not what I mean. I'm not a fan of this styling of beer. There is IPAs that I do really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about that because there is a major difference in what falls under that category of IPA. But this is everything that I don't like. Man, it's the smell of IPA is kind of nice. I like it. Mm-hmm. It does, like you said, clear your sinuses, and it's got that nice grassy, hoppy smell. And I like the ones that has a little floral note to it as well, but this one doesn't have much of that.
Yeah.
What I get is when you get that taste, though. And man, when it hits you, like Lyal said, it's just this mouthful, this explosion, this tingle right up front. It burns the tip of your tongue as it goes across and around the middle. But the aftertaste is where it just beats me up.
Now, are you rolling this on the sides of your tongue?
I've tried both. I've tried sipping it, and I've tried just big glugs. Big glugs definitely work better.
I like it run it straight down the middle of my tongue, and I know that sounds ridiculous and sounds like you know.
Well, no, you got to taste it. I mean, you got to taste it different ways.
It's not something that I like consciously do. Just when I drink an IPA like this, I just let it funnel right down the middle of my tongue, and it hits all the right taste buds for me personally.
Well. Typically, when I'm tasting one, I'll try sips. This is what I need to start with. And I think it's the wrong thing to do with this one. You get this. Hurry up and get this drunk. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I think a big mouthful, big drink, and let it go in there and just kind of just swish it around, roll it around, and get it all over.
Mm-hmm.
And that tends for me to flatten that flavor out. And gives it actually more taste, I think. It allows it to spread it around, and I taste more than just the bitterness. And the bitterness, to be honest, this one said at 55 IBUs. Is that what I just said?
Yep, 55.
Okay, 55 IBUs. That's not that high necessarily.
No, but there doesn't seem to be a ton of maltiness to this, and a lot of times malt will offset the hops. No,
it's got a bit of a... It's got a bit of a buttery flavor, feel to it. It does have some characteristics, but that's the thing about hops is they tend to want to hide that a little bit, and you have to find a way around that if that's not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's really drinking it quickly or drinking it in big drinks, not necessarily having to finish the glass quickly.
Now let's talk about one great thing about IPAs, and one of the reasons I like them so much is food. They are killer with certain types of food. Pizza.
They really are.
Pizza, there's nothing better.
Chicken wings,
anything spicy. If it's hot,
Yeah.
This is
I agree with that, man.
the beer for you.
Nachos.
Yeah. So go,
That's the truth.
If you haven't had an IPA, go grab one. Chances are you probably have had one. They're super trendy right now and have been for several years.
And that was what I was going to point out, is the kind of
beer
if you're looking at the
right?
zeitgeist of craft beer, IPAs is kind of the thing. That's sort of what has been for the last several years, I guess.
But people are
IPAs.
expanding now, and they're doing all sorts of like citrusy IPAs, and there's all these different styles. And so, just because it says IPA, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
so
and I agree. I give a lot of crap to Lyal about IPAs because I tend to be liking the dark beers better. But the reality is, I do like IPAs, at least some of them.
You're just a little more finicky about them, which is how I am with stouts. There's a lot of stouts that I'll drink, but I don't really care for. And every now and then I'll hit on one that I just love.
Right.
And it's all about your own taste. So
yeah, there's definitely some IPs out there that I'm looking forward to when we get to them, actually. Several breweries that I think of that I really enjoy. Goose Island's always been one. Not just their IPA, but pretty much all their stuff that they make.
They have a pretty good wheat, 312 wheat beer.
Their 312 was not bad. But all their IPA and their hoppy stuff is really hoppy, for me.
Yeah.
They're very unapologetic, I think is the way to put it.
Which that's kind of a Chicago thing. You've got another brewery, Lagunitas, out of Chicago that's just like unabashedly.
Now, technically, they're out of California originally.
Oh, really?
And then they expanded into Chicago. So
maybe it's not a Chicago thing. I don't know.
Well, I think it's what that English style, but. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Chicago. It seems like it should be a Chicago thing.
We'll have to see what we find out on the table episode.
Yeah.
No, it's a good solid beer. They make good beers. It's here's the thing. Whether it fits in the definition of craft or not, it adds to the landscape of beer and the choices you have when you go out to a bar. So I give it my thumbs up. I think it's great. Well,
if I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to grade it on what the beer is meant to be, not my personal taste about a beer, I'm going to tell you this is still a good beer.
Yep.
It falls right within the scope of what it should have been. It is not as hoppy as some that I've had. The aftertaste is there. It does have what I've said this in another episode. I would talk about this burnt rubber taste. It has that, but not to the extent that I've experienced before. But it's there.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah, I gotta say, I think it's got a good rating. I think it's got a good rating for a reason, even though it's not my personal favorite. I think you can speak to it for more. So.
Okay, so Chris hates it. I love it. Go out and try it for yourself.
This is not going to go to waste.
Oh, no.
I'm going to finish it.
No beer is that bad, ever.
No.
Until next time.
Whether it be the IPA you're drinking,
the food you're eating,
clothes you're wearing,
or the people you're meeting, grab a buddy.
Try something new.